In the previous lecture, we saw how to make use of developer exception page and how to make use of a custom error page. Now we were doing it based on the environment variable that we had. So here we were saying environment.isDevelopment. If that's true, then go ahead and present the developer exception page. Otherwise, present the error HTML page in case an exception occurs. Now, this is a great way of handling it, but there are times when you have to define your own set of variables, configuration variables, and based on that you would like to proceed with the application. Here in this lecture we'll be doing exactly the same. In order to create our own configuration settings, the first thing that we need to do is create a configuration variable of type configuration builder. So here we are creating a new instance of configuration builder, and in that we are calling add environment variables, and finally we are saying build. Now this configuration builder exists in Microsoft extensions.configuration namespace. So in case you are getting some errors or squiggly lines over here, just press Ctrl dot and the same will be included. Now that we have our configuration variable defined, what we need to do is add a custom parameter or variable in our project. So here, going to the Skill Bakery project and clicking on properties, then over here inside debug we can add a new variable. Let's call it enable exception, and the value set to true. Now we have this variable defined over here. Now we need to access this in our startup.cs file. So instead of this if.environment is development, what I would like to do is I'll write if configuration, that's the variable we defined. So configuration, and then here we can pass the key. Now the key, as you can see, is enable exception. So here I'll say enable exception, and this is a string, so we are comparing it with the string value true, and if it is true we'll be showing the use developer exception page. Let's go ahead and execute this now. So here if I type exception and press enter, you'll see the developer exception page is being shown. That's because here the value of this variable enable exception is set to true. Now, though it is a good way of comparing it, but you can see that we are trying to compare a string with a boolean value. So enable exception is having true or false as its value, and we are comparing it with its string counterpart. Now, in order to take care of that, we can simply make use of another extension method, and that will be configuration dot get value, and here we'll be passing the type. So we are looking for a boolean type and then the key enable exception. So here I'll say if this value returns true, then go ahead and show the user developer exception page. Now let's run it again, and here now when I'm accessing it, you can see the result remains the same, but now we are actually converting the string to its boolean value, true or false. Now if I go ahead and remove this value altogether from the list that we have over here and then run this application, this line will not throw any error. Instead, it will just treat that the value is false. So in that case, we'll be served with this error.html page. Now let's give it a try, and there you go. You can see the custom error page being served. So the benefit of having this custom configuration is that we can have different aspects being covered using these configuration variables, and then we can deploy them into different environments, and based on the configuration settings we can leverage different aspects of the application without making any code changes.